The first time the lights in my shop flickered out, it was 1842 on the dot. The register froze, the overhead stuttered, and I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. In a town where routine is everything, sudden surges don't just happen, especially not every evening, always at the same time, always along Route 478. I'm no investigator. I run the family store. But when the maintenance report, M4780606, surfaced, logged at exactly 1842 on April 7th for a component swapped at the utility pole by mile marker 6, I couldn't let it go. There was no follow-up inspection. That silence felt deliberate. I needed to know why. I parked just off Route 478, gravel crunching beneath my boots as I approached the utility pole's access hatch. The wires overhead buzzed, louder than usual, a constant reminder of what was at stake. I knelt, tracing the faded sticker. Mile marker 6, clear as day. The metal hatch was cold, no hint of heat or pulse, just the faint scent of oil clinging to the bolts. I kept replaying the details. April 7th, 1842, the first surge. Routine maintenance shouldn't leave the town's grid in chaos. I searched for signs, scratches, tampering, anything to explain the nightly flickers. All I found was that oily residue, subtle but out of place. Who had been here? And what exactly did they do? Hunches weren't enough. I needed something concrete. Squinting at the junction box, I caught sight of a small metal tag dangling from the replaced component. The etched numbers matched the utility inventory log I'd seen referenced in the maintenance report. My hands shook as I snapped a photo, the tag slick with the same residue. Someone logged this part, tracked it, left a paper trail, but why no follow-up? Why did the report end at component swapped? I took another picture, making sure the numbers were legible. If the inventory log matched the report, I'd have a direct link between the swap and the surges. Still, the question lingered. Who actually did the work? The tag was a breadcrumb, and I was determined to follow it. The next morning, I headed to the town council office. The air inside was thick with the smell of old coffee and copier toner. Linda Park, the council clerk, barely glanced up as I requested the minutes from the week of April 7th. She hesitated, then slid a folder across the counter. I scanned for any mention of Route 478, the pole, or the component swap. Nothing but notes on potholes, budgets, and a brief mention of increased complaints along Route 478. No record of the maintenance at mile marker 6. When I pressed Linda, she shrugged, insisting if it wasn't in the minutes, it wasn't official. Her eyes lingered on the folder, as if hoping I'd overlook something. The council had to know about the surges. Everyone did. The absence in the records was as glaring as the nightly flicker in my shop. I left with more questions than answers. At the volunteer firehouse, I found Tommy Reyes hunched over a battered logbook. The only sound was a distant radio. Tommy slid the call log toward me, his finger tracing entries all stamped 1842, the exact time of the surges. He confided off the record that the firehouse had been fielding more calls about outages and alarms all clustered around that time. But when I pressed for details, he shut down, insisting he wasn't supposed to get involved with electrical issues. I could see he was uneasy, maybe even scared. I copied the times. The pattern was too precise to ignore. If Tommy was this cautious, what was he protecting? The utility company parking lot was nearly deserted when I found Evan Brooks leaning against his truck, exhaustion written across his face. I asked about the maintenance at mile marker 6. He brushed it off as routine until I mentioned 1842. His jaw tightened. I showed him the maintenance report on my phone. He admitted to swapping the component, calling it standard procedure, but his answers were clipped, rehearsed. When I asked about the missing follow-up inspection, he mumbled about paperwork piling up. He was hiding something. Whether to protect himself or someone else, I couldn't tell. As I walked away, I caught his reflection in the side mirror, watching me. He knew more than he let on. At the community park near Route 478. Priya Desai handed me a printout of her delivery tracking data, her van idling nearby. The log showed her passing mile marker 6 at 1842, right as the surges hit. She admitted her dashboard lights flickered but shrugged it off. Deliveries couldn't wait. When I asked if she'd seen anything unusual, she hesitated, saying she avoided reporting problems to keep her job. But the data was clear. Every night her van was there as the power spiked. I wondered if she'd seen more than she shared, maybe even had dashcam footage. For now, all I had was her tracking log and a growing suspicion. The pieces were falling into place, but the full picture was still out of reach. Back at the utility pole, I sat on the curb, notes spread out. The maintenance report, inventory tag, council minutes, firehouse call logs, Priya's delivery tracking. Every clue pointed to the same moment, 1842 at mile marker 6. The maintenance swap and the surges weren't random. Someone changed something here, triggering a chain reaction across town. But why, and why cover it up? I stared at the access hatch, wondering what was hidden inside the junction box. The answers felt close, humming in the wires above. I stood, resolve hardening. The next surge was coming, and I'd be ready. What mechanism at mile marker 6 is really causing the surges? If you've ever noticed something off at the same time every day, pay attention. Sometimes the smallest details hide the biggest dangers. Stay alert. This story isn't over.